So now we're going to get into the Jimmy Kimmel stuff. So this ought to be fun. House Democratic leadership statement on the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. See if I can make this a little bigger. Yeah, a little bit bigger. All right. Statement by Leader Jeffries, Whip Clark, Chair Aguilar, Vice Chair Liu, Assistant Leader Negus, and DCCC Chair Delbene on the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. Brendan Carr, the so-called chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, so-called, is he the chairman or not chairman, has engaged in the corrupt abuse of power. Well, please do tell. I don't see a second page here, so you can elaborate on that. He has disgraced the office he holds by bullying ABC, again, no context, the employer of Jimmy Kimmel, and forcing the company to bend the knee to the Trump administration. FCC Chair Brendan Carr should resign immediately. I mean, give us explicit examples. Donald Trump and the Republican Party's war on the First Amendment is blatantly inconsistent with American values, which, by the way, I believe it was Disney who got rid of Jimmy Kimmel or suspended him indefinitely. Did you notice how they didn't use the word fire? So he's not actually fired. Media companies, such as the one that suspended Mr. Kimmel, have a lot to explain. So why are you throwing Trump's name out there? Trump wasn't one who did it. It was the media company. And, well, okay, so it wasn't just Disney. It was Disney, and what was the other one? ABC, I think. All right, anyway, the censoring of artists and cancellation of shows is an act of cowardice. It may also be part of a corrupt pay-to-play scheme. House Democrats will make sure the American people learn the truth, even if that requires the relentless unleashing of congressional subpoena power. This will not be forgotten. Dude, we will officially enter clown world if they start issuing subpoenas because their ass hurt that fucking Jimmy Kimmel was pulled off the air. Give me a fucking break, dude. It's an entertainment show. They're making it sound like that Jimmy Kimmel strictly falls under like freedom of the press. He's not a member of the fucking press, dude. He's a clown. He's an entertainment jester. That's what he is. That's what he does. They pay him millions of dollars to be a funny man. That's it. I know they want to give him a lot more power than he actually has, but at the end of the day, that's all he is. Nothing more. All right, Rapid Response 47, Brendan Carr, FCC. We're on a cable show right now. You don't have an FCC license and an obligation to serve the public interest. Podcasts don't either. Jimmy Kimmel is free to do that, but if you have a broadcast TV license, it comes with an obligation to serve the public interest. They didn't put that in quotes, so I felt I should probably read it just in case he doesn't go over that statement exactly on here.
Again, broadcast TV is different. We're on a cable show right now. You don't have an FCC license.
So he does.
You don't have an obligation to serve the public interest. Podcasts don't either. Stand-up comedians, whether they're on lots of forms of communications, don't. And Kimmel is free to do that. But if you have a broadcast TV license, that means that you have something that very few people have. And you're excluding other people from having access to that valuable public resource. And it comes with an obligation to serve the public interest. And again, over the years, there's been a rule in place at the FCC that local TV stations get to preempt programming that they don't think meets the needs of their communities. But recently, these national programmers, ABC, Disney, Comcast, NBC, they've been exercising outsized control and power over those local TV stations, and there's been no pushback. And this is a very significant moment because local broadcasters are now pushing back on national programmers for the first time that I can think of in modern history. And that's one of the things we want at the FCC. We want to empower local broadcasters that have the public interest obligation to push back on national programmers so that people have more choice.
Dude, the Democrats are losing power and influence. They see it, just one domino falling after the next. That's why this thing was so, like, just unhinged, because they're losing power one by one. And it seems to be happening at a faster pace, and it's awesome. I mean, look at the Second Amendment. Just for instance, back in 2010, 2011, and prior to that, New Hampshire, I think it was New Hampshire, was the only state that was a constitutional carry state that you didn't have to get the government's permission to carry a firearm. Right now, last I counted, we're at 26 states, the majority of the country. You can carry a firearm anywhere you want, and you don't have to have the government's permission to do so. I think that is absolutely amazing, because just showing all of these mass shootings, which 95% of them are in gun-free zones, and a lot of them are family related and other things of that nature. Just a small amount are school shootings specifically, even though they are happening. Those are in gun-free zones. Of course they are. But just in the face of all that, The majority of the country has decided to to unleash the Second Amendment once again, and it's absolutely amazing. That's just another thing that Democrats are losing tons of ground on, and it just keeps going and going and going. But at what cost, though? With regard to this, it's too great a cost. I mean, to trade Charlie Kirk for the situation we have now, that Democrats are essentially in free fall right now. I mean, they're losing constituents by the droves. That they're either switching fully over to the Republican Party, or they're just denouncing the Democratic Party and just walking away altogether. It's too great a cost, and it's going to cause a lot of turmoil and a lot of violence. I hope that doesn't happen. It just seems more and more likely that things are just not going to simmer down anytime soon. But anyway, this is from Chucky Chuck Schumer. Is Epstein the real reason Trump had Jimmy Kimmel canceled? The fuck are you talking about, dude? Kimmel calls Epstein's birthday book a gift that keeps on giving. President Trump's administration denied that he'd signed a lewd tribute to Jeffrey Epstein, but Jimmy Kimmel isn't convinced. They're talking about that stupid-ass birthday card where they drew like an outline of like a woman figure, and then Trump signed his name at the bottom where her private part would be. It's stupid as hell. It's already been debunked. It's not even real. Somebody just completely fabricated that just to make Trump look bad because they hate the evil orange man. And this is from Senator Dick Durbin again. Remember, authoritarian governments silence and threaten those who criticize or oppose them. Well, that sounds familiar. We must protect our democracy and our fundamental rights. And the comments are a bit entertaining. I read a few of them earlier, but I said authoritarian officials always forget we live in a constitutional republic. And yeah, I stayed a little calm with it. I could have gotten a bit more heavy and spicy with mine, but you know, that's all right. Odds how these First Amendment warriors can turn their outrage off and on. Terrence K. Williams, I don't know. Free speech. I'm old enough to remember when President Trump was banned from every platform and Jimmy Kimmel laughed and celebrated. Well, and speaking of cancel culture, remember once upon a time that Kevin Hart was chosen to host the Oscars, and then somebody dug up a tweet that he posted. It was on like 2013. It was like 10 years prior, where he made a gay joke. I think it was a gay joke. And they yanked him from hosting the Oscars. They said, nope, you can't do that because you engaged in hate speech like 10 years ago. Absolutely insane. Oh, but they're not the party of cancel culture. No, the right's the party of cancel culture because they're getting people to lose their jobs because they said horrific things about Charlie Kirk. And outright lies, of course. Let's see. Common sense restrictions are placed on the Second Amendment, mental health issues, felonies, illegals, to name the sensible ones, but you don't want common sense restrictions on the first? Yeah, fair point. Like what y'all did to us. ABC hoped Roseanne Barr would tone down her tweeting and focus on her sitcom, but no. There were several flare-ups in the past few months, a Disney source said, and today enough was enough. Brian Stelter. Man, they're actually posting a lot of images here. We remember Musk says Twitter was acting under orders from the government to suppress free speech as he releases Hunter Biden laptop files that show executives by replying handled to requests from Biden team to delete tweets. And I'm sure they were. Absolutely sure they were. But yeah, anyway, there's some good ones here, man. The Chuck Schumer to Rupert Murdoch, direct Tucker Carlson and other hosts on your network to stop spreading false election narratives and admit on the air that they were wrong to engage in such negligent behavior. Let's see. Oh yeah, account suspended. Live look, Trump's bathroom. Cry harder, bitch. Yep. We did protect our democracy and our fundamental rights. We voted out Democrats from the White House, House of Representatives, and the Senate. You're welcome. Yeah, that was a good one. Little lesson is hypocrisy. Remember this moron. Gina Carano. James Woods. Oh, yeah. Just somebody pushing back. John Voight. Chrissy Swanson. I'm not familiar with her. Morgan. Brittany. Not familiar. I'm sure it's probably taken out of context. That's a bit too much to read, but it's there. You know, there's both sides. Both sides, they got a voice. Didn't Barack Obama get Roseanne Barr fired in 2018 after her comments about Valerie Jarrett, his senior advisor, comedian, getting fired for inflammatory comments on Twitter? Isn't that what you're fighting today? How attitudes change when roles are reversed. Well, yeah, it's way too obvious. I mean, Democrats, they're all about rules for thee, not for me. That's been the case for freaking ever, man. Moving on to JD Vance. Everyone, please congratulate Marco Rubio, the new host of ABC's Late Night Show. Oh, yeah? I didn't hear whether this is a joke. Now, I did hear that they're going to play a tribute to Charlie Kirk. And so did they, like, did Marco Rubio actually, like, offer to host something like that? Okay, that was a little weird. I thought Benny Johnson was taking it over. The Tonight Show with Benny Johnson. I bet he'd take it, too. JD Vance and Trump. That's hilarious. Congratulations, Marco Rubio. Just another day at the jobs. I'm going to need you to fill in for Kimmel. Also hosting the game show Millionaire. He is a man of many talents. Yeah, there's another one there. So, I mean, I'm gonna look this up because honestly, I don't know. I read the post earlier today. This was posted at 8 o'clock this morning. Let's see. All right, let me just check here. I'm sure it'll tell me something. I don't know if it'll be completely accurate. Jokingly posted on X that Marco Rubio would replace Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, there you go. ABC's Late Night Show. So yeah, it was a joke. He was just joking. Rubio, a Secretary of State with multiple roles, has no confirmed hosting gig. Now, the reason why I wanted to look it up was because I did hear about them doing a tribute to Charlie Kirk in place of Jimmy Kimmel. I suppose the next time he's on, whether that's tonight. Let's see. During... Yeah, I can't type for shit tonight. That's what I heard. I don't know if they confirmed. Yes, Sinclair Broadcast Group announced that its ABC affiliates will air a Charlie Kirk tribute special during Jimmy Kimmel's usual time slot on Friday. So it's tomorrow. I was about to say it was probably tonight, but it's tomorrow, September 19th, 2025, following Kimmel's suspension over controversial comments about Kirk's assassination. There you have it.